two things that the Lord Jesus has taught me through my son, who has a severe brain abnormality, and it's by Jesus that he is here. Um, and Jesus uses the simple, the things that if we're not careful, that we'll miss. And he uses our son to teach us things. And the beauty at which he goes about doing it is incredible. And it's things that sometimes can be very difficult to take in, but I'm thankful that he still makes that known to us as long as we're open to that correction. And the first thing is that what he has taught me is that my son involuntarily, because of the condition that he has trouble with biting. Sometimes it's out of habit, sometimes it's out of coping, sometimes he's in pain. It just depends, and he's not able to verbally tell us. So he causes self-harm at times, and I get to a point to where you can handle it for so long, and then you start to hit that rough patch, and I start being a little bit more vocal, and I plead with him. I'm like, would you please stop doing this to yourself? I hate seeing this. It breaks my heart. And in the midst of that, the Lord always connects it. He brings to my mind that he knows that I'm my own worst critic. And if there's one thing that I have my Achilles heel with, it is that when something goes wrong and I feel like that I've had my part in it, I will kick myself. I will do everything. I will say things that are so harmful about myself. And he simply told me, as I was pleading with my son to stop, why do you do this? Why do you keep treating and doing yourself this way? And he said, that's the way that I view you when you attack yourself verbally. And man, it hit me, and I went, wow. So please pray for me that will stop, because the amount of heartbreak that it does for me with my son, I can't imagine the kind of heartbreak it brings to the one who created me when I attack myself the way I do. And I hope this encourages somebody out there that does it too in private. A lot of the time we feel like we have to be a museum, and but only he knows what goes on in the private, what really goes on. He knows us to the depths. So he's so beautiful in the way that he teaches us, even when it's difficult. A very difficult part that's hard to share about my son is that we do our best to embrace him, and sometimes we become overwhelmed, and that happens. And a lot of the time, for every person that the Lord sends in our path that sees JT the way the Lord does, and it so uplifts us, this world overlooks JT. And sometimes when we become consumed, we can kind of tend to get in that mentality that we overlook the things that are most important. And I can imagine that my son, sometimes he goes, when we are able to take him out, that he has this look on his face like he's just waiting for somebody to talk to him. And a lot of the time he feels overlooked. He kind of feels like nobody even pays mind to him. And it can be heartbreaking to see that when you go out in public. But what I'm getting at is what the Lord taught me through that as well, is that the same way that JT feels overlooked and people passing him by is the same way that Jesus feels when he's rejected. And I've seen that look of discouragement on my son at times when he's going through that. And that's the way Jesus feels when he's rejected, when he's bypassed, when he's ignored. And all he wants is for people to accept his free gift of salvation. And he's rejected, and people pay no mind. They don't care. They don't pay any attention to the message and how important him going to the cross and resurrecting from the dead was for us all. So that same discouragement my son can carry at times when he feels overlooked and feels like nobody wants anything to do with him hardly is the same way that Jesus feels. So I just wanted to share those things, and it's a way to examine myself, but I pray it's a way for others that are followers of Christ to examine themselves. And for those that do not know the Lord Jesus Christ, I plead with you that you would give your life to Christ today, that you would ask for his salvation, because eternity is a long time to be apart from Jesus Christ. That's what it all comes down to. And that's all that will matter when you pass, is whether you ask Jesus for salvation. He is the only way into heaven.